The first problem is that she's the evil queen. The evil queen is supposed to be envious of Snow White's beauty, and that is just not believable. Even in a movie with magical mirrors and dwarves and all that, that strains my ability to suspend disbelief.
When Disney's $270 million Snow White remake became the company's biggest disaster in decades, fingers started pointing in every direction. The film earned a shocking 1.6 rating on IMDb, the lowest in Disney history. But behind that catastrophic failure lies a story more dramatic than anything on screen.
Probably the biggest aspect of disbelief you have to suspend is the idea that Gal Gadot, as the wicked witch here, as the evil stepmother, is somehow less good looking than Rachel Zegler.
That's the dumbest thing I ever heard.
Come on, gang. We ain't blind.
Two actresses, one playing the fairest princess of them all, the other the evil queen, reportedly couldn't stand being in the same room together. And now Rachel Zegler is allegedly pointing the finger directly at Gal Gadot, trying to shift blame for the film's historic failure. What really happened between these two stars, and why has their feud destroyed Disney's most ambitious remake yet? It all started with an Instagram post that sent Disney fans into detective mode.
Disney doesn't know what a Disney princess is anymore, which is crazy.
Disney's Snow White was essentially a box office dud. Early estimates suggested that they would take in 48 to 58 million in the first weekend. Apparently, it did 43 million in its first weekend. $270 million. Obviously, it was going to win the box office. It's the biggest movie at the box office this weekend. But, for example, Disney's Cinderella, which for my money is still the only good live-action Disney remake, is going to be a gigantic box office failure. But the trend that you're noticing is that the worst performing of the Disney movies in terms of live-action remakes are basically everything in the last 5 years. And that is a combination of wokeness and the pandemic. And now you better have a good reason to get people to the theaters, and this ain't it.
After the film's release, Rachel Zegler shared a lengthy, emotional thank you message about how much Snow White meant to her, complete with behind-the-scenes photos and loving tributes to cast and crew members. But one name was noticeably absent: Gal Gadot. The evil queen herself received no mention, no tag, not even a passing reference.
The movie apparently is not very good. I haven't seen it yet. I would be shocked if it were. Again, the star, Rachel Zegler, is unbelievably charmless in public. Studios really need to go back to what they originally did, which was tell your stars to shut up and not say things, because no one is paying to hear your star say offensive things off the screen.
I wanted to talk to you because you might be as happy as I am at the failure of Snow White.
2 years, and it's been one of many now predictable Disney failures. And it's more than just a movie at this point, because normally I wouldn't even watch a princess movie, but it became such a punching bag. And Rachel Zegler has become the symbol of everything that's wrong with modern Hollywood right now. And the audience has spoken. They were, honestly, Glenn, they were telling every trailer that hit YouTube was getting ratioed into oblivion. And yeah, so Disney was telling you exactly what this movie was going to be, and the audience was telling them exactly what they thought of it. And now, unsurprisingly, it's flopping.
This movie, her reaction, the way they did all of it, I think this is part of the undoing of that era as well.
In Hollywood, where public image is everything, this omission spoke volumes. Fans immediately noticed and began speculating about what could have caused such an obvious snub. Was it deliberate? Had something happened between the two actresses? The silence was deafening, and social media exploded with theories. Sources close to production have revealed that from day one, Rachel and Gal were like oil and water. Their personalities clashed dramatically on set. Rachel, the younger, outspoken newcomer, and Gal, the established star with years of experience. They are not close by any means. One insider revealed to ET, despite Disney's attempts to present a united front during press junkets, the tension was palpable.
These were movies made with a mindset of identity politics, intersectional feminism, which really goes against what Hollywood had done for hundreds of years, or 100 years, which is hundreds of years, sorry. And Hollywood doesn't know how to be good anymore. They are so black-pilled. They are so dystopian. They are so nihilistic at this point that when you see something that's just good, that it disgusts them. What's happened is masculinity has been drained out of Hollywood, and it turns out they needed it. That's what it was built on. Now, it doesn't mean, and so is femininity, which, Snow White is essentially feminism versus femininity. And sure, you could, yes, it's made in 1937, but it boggles my mind that Disney took the film that built their empire.
Yes.
That it is a paradigm shift movie that is sacred text in Hollywood, and just threw away the original script and gave us, and I'm not kidding, communist propaganda.
Why do you say that?
Snow White. It really does feel like they did massive reshoots during the strike. So they tried to fix some of it, so it's kind of half a fairy tale and half, as the BBC says, Glenn, a Marxist call to arms. Even the BBC called it out for its communist propaganda.
When asked about their relationship in interviews, their forced smiles and rehearsed answers couldn't hide the truth. "You two clearly get along and respect and love each other," one interviewer suggested. Rachel's tight-lipped response and Gal's uncomfortable shift in her seat told a different story. Their conflicting approaches to the material and vastly different working styles created a toxic environment that influenced everyone on set. As word of their feud spread, fans began taking sides. Some rallied behind Rachel, while others defended Gal. But the real losers were Disney and the film itself. Social media was flooded with images of nearly empty theaters during opening weekend, rows of vacant seats where eager audiences should have been. Fan communities that would normally flock to a Disney release were actively boycotting the film, driven by loyalty to one actress or disdain for the other. Critics weren't any kinder, with reviews focusing more on the behind-the-scenes drama than the film's merits. The public had turned against Snow White before it even had a chance, and the dismal box office numbers reflected this unprecedented rejection. The numbers tell a devastating story. Disney spent a staggering $270 million on production alone, one of the most expensive live-action remakes in their history. Add another $100 million for marketing, and the total investment reaches an eye-watering $370 million. For comparison, the original animated classic from 1937 cost just $1.5 million to make. Adjusted for inflation, Disney executives had banked on Snow White being a guaranteed billion-dollar hit, following in the footsteps of successful remakes like The Lion King and Beauty and the Beast. Instead, empty theaters and abysmal ratings have transformed it into one of Hollywood's most expensive failures. Insiders report that emergency meetings have been held to assess the damage and prevent similar disasters in the future. Perhaps the most telling moment came during the 2025 Oscars. Rachel and Gal appeared on stage together to present an award, a carefully orchestrated attempt to dispel rumors of conflict. But eagle-eyed viewers noticed something strange. Throughout their entire time on stage, the two actresses never once made eye contact. Not a single glance was exchanged as they read from the teleprompter, maintaining an uncomfortable distance from each other. Industry veterans noted that this kind of behavior is the ultimate show of disrespect between co-presenters. "That's the biggest disc you can do to someone, not look at them," one experienced host commented. Their stiff, rehearsed interaction only fueled speculation that the tension between them had reached a breaking point. After the Oscars, Rachel made a comment that many interpreted as a direct dig at Gal. In response to a fan praising their joint appearance, Rachel referred to Gal as a professional pageant queen. On the surface, it might seem like a compliment, acknowledging Gal's poise and beauty. But industry insiders and fans alike picked up on the dismissive undertone, a subtle suggestion that Gal was all style and no substance. The comment quickly went viral, with many seeing it as Rachel belittling Gal's acting abilities and reducing her to her physical appearance. Gal, who had represented Israel in the Miss Universe pageant before launching her acting career, remained silent about the apparent slight, but her fans were quick to defend her against what they saw as Rachel's unprofessional behavior. Behind the scenes, Disney's PR team was in full crisis mode. Sources revealed that they brought in special social media experts specifically to manage Rachel's online presence, which had become increasingly problematic for the film's promotion. She didn't understand the repercussions of her actions as far as what that meant for the film, for Gal, for anyone. An insider confided, "The situation became so dire that a top producer reportedly flew out for an emergency meeting with Rachel about her public statements. Even Steven Spielberg, who had championed Rachel early in her career, was said to be concerned about the controversy surrounding her." Disney had hoped that Snow White would cement Rachel's status as their newest princess, but instead found themselves managing a PR nightmare that overshadowed the film entirely. Rather than letting the controversy die down, Rachel took to Instagram to address the backlash directly. In a series of stories and posts, she vented her frustrations about the criticism she was receiving. "I never wanted to come off as me being ungrateful for the opportunities I have," she wrote. "I can also be having the greatest time and simultaneously wishing people would stop sending me threats." She compared herself to the winged victory of Samothrace, a famous ancient Greek statue displayed in the Louvre that's damaged but still beloved. "Everyone who hates when I win. The winged victory came to the Louvre in pieces, and people still line up to see her," she posted. "I can only hope that despite my flaws and cracks and breaks, people will wait in line to see me." The posts were meant to garner sympathy, but many viewed them as tone-deaf and self-pitying, further damaging her public image. What began as a fairy tale has transformed into a cautionary tale about the volatile mix of ego, controversy, and massive financial investment in Hollywood. Snow White was meant to be a magical reimagining of Disney's first animated feature, a celebration of the studio's heritage and a showcase for two talented actresses. Instead, it became a punchline and a case study in how quickly things can go wrong. Rachel Zegler went from being hailed as Disney's next breakout star to becoming a controversial figure whose name is now associated with one of the studio's biggest failures. As for Gal Gadot, while she's weathered the storm with less damage to her reputation, her involvement in the ill-fated project represents a rare misstep in her otherwise successful career. Disney's Snow White debacle serves as a stark reminder that even with hundreds of millions of dollars at stake, the human element, the chemistry between stars and their ability to maintain professional relationships, can make or break a film more decisively than any special effect or marketing campaign.